Hi. So what we're going to do, and this shouldn't take you, probably more than 10 minutes, maybe 20 on the outside, is we're going to create a value chart. And a value chart is something we're going to use to basically as a tool to help us with shading. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw, and this doesn't have to be very big. I'm doing this on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I do want you to do this on your drawing paper, but it doesn't need to be very big. You can use an area of paper you've already used for a blind drawing or the backside of something. You want to refer to it over and over again, but you want to actually use the paper that we've been using right along. So, about, I don't know, let's say 10 inches long. Make yourself a rectangle. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 8 lines in it, and I'm going to try to do this as best I can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. More or less equidistant. I'm going to draw some lines here. So we're going to create a chart basically from 0 to 100% black. When we think about shading, that's what we want to think about. We want to think about, instead of just getting in there and shading like crazy, we want to compare what we're looking at to this value chart. With this tool, with our pencil, and with this paper, we want to use the same tools. So I'm going to put 0% right here, and I'm going to put 100% right here. Now, so what we'll do is we'll put 50 right in the center, and we'll put 25 over here, and we'll put 75 over here. Okay, so basic math. So 0 over here is no tone, no shading, no value, no whatever. 100% over here is as much as we can put on here. Now, here's the thing. We want to be controlled. Oh, by the way, I want you to draw along with me, okay? Stop the video where you need to be, and I'm probably not gonna complete this entire thing, but we'll get along with it. So here's the thing. We want to be very controlled. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to go scribble, 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 scribble. We want to be super, super controlled about this. And we don't want to try to go for 100% right away. Like, we don't want to go in there and go. What we want to do is we want to build up, okay? So we can do it gradually, and we can keep track of what's going on. So here's what we're going to do. So basically, and it's okay if you see the lines, of your pencil. I'm just kind of gradually filling this in. I'm going at this one angle, like this. Okay. Now I'm going to change angles, and I'm going to do this a little bit backwards like this, just because of how my hand is. Remember, you can always turn your paper. And basically what I'm doing is I'm putting the same amount of pressure, not pushing super hard. You might want to look at your pencils to kind of see, you have some pencils that are different softnesses or hardnesses. Take a peek at those and see what maybe you might want. Something that's a little bit soft that will put down stuff right away. Okay, so you see we've made this dark. We've just overlapped it with the same kind of lines, just at a different angle. So we're just building up. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. And I'm gonna go across. You want to go as much as you can across the entire area. You don't want to sort of start and stop and start and stop and then kind of go over here and start and stop, start and stop. Because you'll get a lot of these kind of start and stop areas like right in here, and we don't want to do that. All right, so here, we'll add a little bit more. I'm just going to do the same angle I had before. I'm going to go over this and just take your time. But the thing is, 100% black, when we're using this pencil and this paper, it's not going to be necessarily as black as you think black can be. There's only so far you can get. Now, yes, that's true. I could haul on this like this, really, really dark, but, you know, we want to make this controlled, okay? So black is not going to end up, you know, looking like this necessarily. If we were using charcoal, sure. Okay, so we've got 100%, we've got 0%. Here's 50%, all right? Now, since we're doing this gradual buildup, we can do gradual buildup again. This indeed is not a huge, you know, is not a completely scientific way of doing this. So some of this is indeed what your eye is going to see. You're going to see a line right here. That's a piece of masking tape underneath my piece of paper here. So apologize about that. Now the thing is too with pencil, once you get, you know, once you know, if you feel like you're getting too dark, that's where an eraser comes in. All right, so I think that's about 50%. I'm gonna think, all right? And for right now, always better to be lighter than darker, right? So let's go over to 25%. So basically this is halfway between this, 50%, and this, 0%. So now I only went, you know, I was kind of thinking, okay, here's my 50%. It's about half of the darkness of this. I want to go half as much here. So how do I do that when, you know, I was only using one set of lines here? I'm just going to go lighter, okay? This is where sort of the delicateness of how hard you push comes into effect. Okay, that seems about halfway between these. All right, let's move over to 75. So we know we'll at least put down the same we put down for 50. This is why sort of building this up and being very controlled is key. One of the things about that can be very tricky about drawing shading, we'll call it value, we'll call it lots of other things, is that this, you know, this feeling of not having, you know, not having a tool for it. And we're kind of creating this tool, not only a technique, but a tool that we can use. This is, you know, along the lines of how we figured out, okay, you know, we, you know, in order to be able to draw, let's kind of figure out shapes. Let's kind of figure out all of that. All right, so maybe it needs a little bit more, okay? So some of this is not just how many lines you're adding on, but is how hard you're pushing. So I'm adding some horizontal lines here, like I did with the 100%. Just to kind of get it just a little bit more. Okay, now we have these areas in between here. Okay, we're going to fill those in as well. So I'm just going to do a couple of them very quickly, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to let you kind of go on because this video's gone on long enough. But you know, this is of course like 12.5%, and this is something in between there. You get the idea, right? So you know, we're over here. We want to go lighter than 25, but not have nothing. So I'm gonna go very lightly, very delicately. You just kind of, and sometimes it helps to hold your pencil like this, sometimes. And I'm going from one area to the other. I don't trying not to have starts and stops. I'm trying not to be too scribbly like that. Okay, want to kind of have this look like a continuous tone. Now, if you've worked in pastels or something like that, or charcoal, you may have done some rubbing before, like to even up tone. Don't do that, okay? So, rub, let's not do that, okay? All right, so let's come over here and we'll do this thing in between 75 and 100. You're going to find that things, will get pretty close, but what you're trying to do is just try to make them, just a little bit different, just in between one and the other. All right, so we've added that. So what we're looking to be a little bit darker than 75. A little bit lighter than 100. So when we start drawing, what I'm going to have you do is kind of create a little thumbnail sketch of these to kind of figure out your values and mark them down, because that's going to be the best way pretty close to there. Okay, so you get the idea. So you're going to do this entire thing. You're going to do, in between these and in between these. Obviously, that's nothing, but that's what you're going to work on. Okay, so thanks so much.